What's up, everybody? Welcome to Take Me Off Your List. I just put on my podcast voice. How cool is that? Amelia and I just talked for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes before this. And like I had a normal voice and now I have a podcast voice. And that's the cool thing that we do. I'm talking to Amelia Taylor today about partnerships, about our history together, working at competing companies, about go to market stuff, about what's next. A lot of character development on this one. I'm really excited. What's up, Amelia?
What's up? Your voice did totally change. And let me just share something really quick. I found myself sitting at a table one time with Chris Voss, negotiation guy, right? And
Yep.
I asked him, I said, Chris, we've made it right through this whole negotiation. Like we've done the thing, right? So what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, late night DJ for sure. And he goes, do you want to hear my voice for it? And I said, yeah, obviously. And he did it and asked me how it was. And I gave him feedback. And that is something I have to share based off the voice you just did.
Yeah, totally
Because
that.
you put it on. You did exactly what he did. And I will never forget. So that's you just
I
created memory in my mind.
I try not to stick with it. I do it at the beginning just to get things organized and set up when you're doing this. You know what I mean? But that's what happens. That's the character development. Um,
No, character development, yeah.
so I was talking to Amelia on LinkedIn Messenger. She had a great post the other day about going to a event in Montana, which I want to talk to her about. Um, One of the things that we've been talking about as a theme for Pitchfire and people that use Pitchfire is that like outbound prospecting is getting super hard to do. It used to be like you could rip a bunch of volume and you'd hear back from people. Um, but one of the channels that's still kind of working really well and a lot of companies botch is partnerships. And Amelia's been saying a lot of cool stuff. I saw a post this morning from Scott Leese, and probably I think he posted it yesterday. He said he was talking to one client that sourced $35 million in revenue just from partnerships last year. And I hear that and I'm like, man, like I'm not doing enough in partnerships. I think partnerships are amazing. Amelia, why are you interested in partnerships? What do you like about them?
It was kind of this whole evolution of, all right, I'm in the sales realm, and that's where everything began, if you will. Then it was, I would jump into the marketing calls and meetings, and they'd be like, Amelia, hey, what are you doing here? Kind of thing. But I'm like, hey, I've got a really cool idea. Look at what XYZ company did. And they partner with this company doing this like marketing play together, not knowing what I was even talking about. But, and this is earlier years, but I was seeing how the companies were doing things in ways that I'm like, oh, makes sense. Collaboration, cool. And you're speaking to the same audience. Why not do shit together? Right. So then I jumped into a company where I was selling RevOps services, and there was a partnership with Pavilion. So with this company, and I learned how to sell through Slack, specifically being like my top revenue channel that I've driven like the most in my career through, because people are one paying to play there, and two, that's where ICP was living and talking the most.
Yeah.
And there was a partnership to lean on too, to say, hey, we're a partner with the community. It was an easy way to just go and communicate with people, but also it was a way to drive relationships. And I think that is literally the backbone of any kind of like fruition that comes from a partnership. So if there's no trust, there's no relationship, there's no partnership that's going to evolve in any way. And I'm such a believer in relationship first and like EQ first, of like reading the person and like being as human as possible. Like we were literally just like goofing off before this too,
Yeah.
because it's like, hey, let's be normal, because we're normal people. Like we're not normal, but like let's like we're not normal, but let's be our normal selves by just being human, and not this like, hey, how are you? Like, no, I would tell you how I really am if you want to know. So like there's the aspect of this is this is where I believe the future of like again, like sales marketing is going to go, because that's where people are going with the same audience. Like when you team up and you partner up with a company that is speaking to the same ICP, that's where you're going to win, because you're doing these co-marketing plays too. There's a lot of different avenues that you can do things with. But to go into like what you just said real quick, and I commented on Scott's post, and I was like riding on this train right now, like passive income through SaaS, done. Because it really is that to an extent. If you're like if you're revenue generating for a company, and you're just a referral partner. So that's a different kind of partnership, right? Like if you're a referral partner and you're driving like trusted, like it's going to be these warm handoffs pretty much. Say it's CEO to CEO. Boom, perfect, cool. That's as warm as you can get. And they giggle about CEO things. And then if that goes somewhere, great. There's rev share that happens. That's when, like, that's the easiest kind of partnership you possibly can have. Finding the companies that have enough ACV that like that matters too. Like, you don't want to get cents based off of wasting your time to make an intro. Like, go find the companies that have higher dollar amounts of what they sell, and then go do that with them. That's a side note.
One thing you mentioned that I wanted to comment on is like, how bad is it when you go to a conference and a CEO is doing like a keynote or a speech and it's just really like not real? Like it's really robotic or like scripted. Like I see this all the time. I kind of want to name people and get in trouble, but I don't know. I don't want to burn bridges with people.
If you do it, do it.
How would you say?
If you do it, I'll do it.
Yeah, I just like I can name some conferences. I've been to some user conferences where the CEO's on stage talking, and I'm like, if I hung out with that person backstage, their personality is completely different than it is on stage.
Oh yeah.
And it's such a bummer. Like, because it's like people get attached to people. And there's some good CEOs out there. Like one of the things that I've always been interested in, I feel bad. I was never like an Apple fanboy, but like now I've been kind of like watching a lot of the old Steve Jobs keynotes, and I'm like been watching what he did. And the thing that he did was like he did polished Apple speak, but he still was himself. Like when he did, and like like it everything was kind of based on these values and cores that he had, and he put that front and center in the things that he'd say. And then you see other people to just read like the future of AI sales enablement is coming from the blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, I don't know what the fuck you just said.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. People tap out of that completely. Well, it's like I went to something in Miami and I'm listening and I'm around all these people. And so I just like turned around, grabbed a drink, and I'm like talking to someone. I'm like, you're not going to listen to this either. Okay. And like, we just started like chatting, and they're like, yeah, I cannot follow this. And so I was like, I'm going to go and ask this guy who's well known in this whole community space and whatnot, who has this big community. And I was like, I'm gonna go ask him after he talks if he's happy when he falls asleep at night. I was like, I'm gonna go play around a little bit. And so me with my like, I don't care what what are you gonna do? Like tell me to kick rocks, get out of there. Okay, cool. Like, but also, is that memorable? Yeah. So like they're not gonna forget, like they might hate me, but that's fine. Like it's okay if you don't like me. So I walked up to him after and I said, I have one question, and this is unrelated to what it is that you just said on stage. But based off of hearing you on stage and reading the things you say on LinkedIn, and then also hearing you with other people, just like conversing, whatnot, are you happy when you lay your head down on your pillow at night? And he just looked at me like, the hell is wrong with you? And he just goes, debatable, and walks away. And I was like, that says everything right there. This dude's like falling asleep, feeling like, hey, I just bullshitted the world because I don't maybe know what all's going on. So like, I have mad respect for the people, those leaders who can just throw out there like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out. Like, those are the kind of people that I want to surround myself with. The people who are like, hey, let's figure it out together. And I feel like that's where partnerships really comes into play, and why I went to this event in Montana, because it was a really good group of people that I didn't know all these people, but we had like the best time. And I was my ridiculous self living in my Southern roots. And I was like, yeah, chickens just got out. Who wants to go with me to go run after chickens for fun? Like, why not? Right. And then it was also the conversations at night that are like, we're drinking whiskey and chatting about like, hey, how'd you get into what you're doing? And like, are you happy with what you're doing? And like, what's your plans? And hey, can you help me figure out how to do this? Because I have no clue. So it's just like a give. And it was cool to be in a space where we were glamping. Side note, it was camping, but we're going to go with glamping. And it was neat just to be like out with it was less than 50 people there, which was cool. And so you got to know people well for these 4 days.
Yep.
And then you just have these like conversations about like, hey, here's from different, people like Mac from ComSort, then Kathleen from Pavilion, and it just people from in revenue, Josh Wagner, like certain people who are just making big moves and like doing things, and their names. They talk about certain things, and it was like, oh, like Mac kind of brought up a whole different aspect to partnerships of living in network and being in network, and stop overcomplicating partnerships, because a lot of conversations there were overcomplicated. And I think that's what we do
Yep.
across the board. Everyone's overcomplicated everything. Like, chill out, y'all. Chill out and just like get back to the basics of like people. Like, if you can't have a conversation with someone, like, that's on you. Like, you need to go figure out how in the world to have that like EQ led first approach. Stop selling. Nobody's going to be like, I'm going to sign up for a demo. Hell yeah. There's a demo page, I'm signing up. No, they're going to who they know by way of the trust that's already been established, or who they've bought from for customers of, someone they know, whatever it may be, but it's through a partnership lens, really.
Yeah, and for some people that are out there, they're like, I am socially awkward. I don't know what. Maybe some of you are in marketing, or you're a technical introverted person.
You're a CTO. We love you, but we don't. You
Yeah,
don't speak Julia.
maybe
I don't speak
you
you.
fell into a go-to-market role now. If you're listening to this, some of the tips that I'd give if you're trying to like build a relationship with someone, you can start with small talk, but the real thing we kind of want to like bond on is common interest. That's what I noticed. Like, if you have something in common, like Amelia and I were talking before this, I showed her, I was doing a tour of my house because I tried to record this upstairs and my internet was messing up. So I came downstairs. But we were talking, and like, we both worked in the data space. So we were talking about that for a couple minutes. We both like have been know a lot of people. We were talking about some people that we both mutually know. And that's sort of like how you can start relationships with people.
Yeah.
Like, if you see a keynote person talking, you're in an event, you want to go up and talk to a stranger, don't go up to them and be like, hey, my solution does X, Y, Z. Go up to them and say, hey, what'd you think of Josh over there and what he just said?
Right.
Like
Ask a question, like pique that curiosity, and like ask, like, go do, like, okay, think about it. If you were to send some outbound message to someone today that's cold and whatever, just whoever it is, and you think it's personalized, right?
Yeah.
Would you feel comfortable walking up to that individual in person saying what you just said? Like, hey, we both have a dog named Maggie.
Yeah,
Like,
great
no,
point.
that's awkward. Like, absolutely not. Like, you were a creep then. Like, stop with that. Like, don't do that. And would you say that to someone? Like, you say that to someone who's more technical and you're on the sales side? Like, they don't, those languages don't speak. So, like, also knowing when to bring in the right person matters too. If you just don't mesh, like, if it doesn't make sense, then you're like, all right, this person, I've got something where I can help them,
Yeah.
but I don't speak their language. I don't know if they think that I know anything about anything, but they're continuing to talk to me. Bring in your SE, bring in whoever it is, bring in your partner person who like knows the lay of the land of competitors and whatnot too, and make things work. Like, match make. Like, that is literally the name of the game.
And the way you kind of talked about, one of the things I know you're really famous for is being like one of the best experts in building pipeline and building relationships on Slack with like communities and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know why that works? Because when you Slack, you're not sending a cold email and using the wording of a cold email in your Slack message.
Not at all. And it's also, it could be like a quick like voice
Yeah.
note thing that I do, which some people hate it, whatever. I don't care if you like it or not. Like, I do it sometimes for the sake of I'm juggling children and you might hear them in the background. Like, whatever. I don't care if you like it or not, but I'm going to do it. It's easiest for me. And
Yeah.
then also it's where I like, there's one deal that I closed at one point where all of the stakeholders, they were all within this one community, and we never jumped on a Zoom one time. It was all through huddles, every conversation we had, which is so not normal. And nor is that like where it's always going to be. But if you're in the SaaS B2B space, go find a community where your people are talking, or where your customers are talking, create these feedback loops, and like understand, or whoever it is internally who is like out in the wilds, quote unquote, in the wilderness, going with the theme, if you Pitchfire, I suppose. But like, they're, go where people are actually at. And then when you're there, it's just engaging in this like human approach. Like, hey, tag people who can help too. That's how you build good relationships. Like if someone asks for something, hey, I'm looking for a solution for XYZ. Does anybody have any info on, let's go with lead IQ versus seamless. Okay. Let's just toss that one out for fun.
Let's throw it out. We'll throw it out for the people here. Let's do it. Okay.
So, like which one's better and who has better data, right? So if I said, hey, I think I can help you out here, or if I knew someone at one of those companies that I trusted enough, I would say, hey, do you like, I think they can help you out, whatever. That's just building a good, like, trusted kind of partnership, if you will. And then it's going to come back in like some way, shape, and form of them being like, oh, I owe them. And so
Yep.
it's like, it's not this like, play that's like gross, because it could be taken that way of like, oh, now they owe me, but do it in a helpful way, because it'll be a recommendation or referral or just overall revenue, or just like more of a relationship established
Yeah.
when you're tagging the right people in. So it's like a tag you're in kind of thing. They'll do the same for you back. Then you build these like relationships that are more like partnerships.
It's kind of a way of, people have probably heard this metaphor before, but it's almost like an emotional bank account. Like
Yeah,
if you chip away and you put a little bit of money into their account for them, and then you put a little bit more money into their account, and then eventually they will use some of that money and help you back if you just do good things to help people. And every person that's listening to this has three things they can do to help someone. They have their life experiences that they've been through, they have their network, and they probably have some area of expertise that they know that that other person might not know about.
totally. And here's the thing, like with that, and I will say with that second, like your network though, if you are going to go and ask someone for help within someone else's network, like if you want to intro to someone, write the damn intro for that person. Make it easy to say yes to. Like that is so vital today. Like people work with people that they like and that they trust. Like if you want to build the trust, do the work on their behalf if you have an ask. Like
Yep.
that should go as like in the whole common sense bucket, that like common sense hasn't ever been common. That's very debatable. But I tend to believe that if you're not doing the work, like when you make the ask by saying, hey, here's something, like here's the things that would be the most impactful, because I'm trying to form this partnership with this company, or we're trying to do a co-marketing play
Yep.
with a partner we already have. I want to get, but I'm new in this company and I'm trying to stand up our partnership, whatever it may be. I'm a one-man band in a partnership program, and because I got rid of everyone before because they didn't see the value, trying to re-engage with our partners and create this co-marketing play after this event, just let's say inbound, right?
Yeah.
Um, so how, like doing so, you have to say, here's something I went ahead and wrote up for you. If you don't mind, that would be amazing. Let me know what I can do for you. And know the person enough. Don't blindly ask people just because you think they've got a good network. Like if you go do that to Scott Lease, I promise you, there will be a post about you and what you did and how awful that was of you. Like it will not be pretty. I'm calling that right now.
One of my favorite things to do to get to know someone, I promise I have no intention, is to just do this
Yeah.
podcast with someone, hang out. Like, I don't think I've ever hung out with you for more than maybe a minute or two on something. Like,
No, I thought
what?
you didn't like me. I was like, he
No,
think
I'm
he
not. No, yeah. You know what the problem? So, we are actually talking about this a little bit before, but like, one of the hard parts for me is, um, I always kind of felt like, um, whenever I worked or did stuff with people that were involved with Seamless, I felt like they didn't like me, and
That's
it
true.
kind
That's probably
of,
true.
and I never like, I always tried to be like the person, like I always wanted to be someone that was really helpful and silly and fun and not too serious and doesn't brag about success, and like I'll do that a little bit now because I need to for like investor reasons and some stuff like
Duh.
Pitchfire, but I don't want to be like rah rah, look how much money I had, and like and all that. And I kind of felt like me talking about not doing that, like hurt some relationships with some people at Seamless, which made it so that we like, because I'm like I have a bunch of people I'm friendly with that were at Zoom Info, that I could like text or message and chit chat with, or like ring lead before they bought them. Sales intel, like the whole data space, any of these companies, people at Clay now I talk to, Win.ai, like I
Yeah.
I have relationships with a bunch of these people that I could talk to. And for some reason I felt like I never really got that with the seamless
You
people.
You did, yeah. You were not loved totally.
No,
But
why? What I do wrong? I didn't ever do anything that was like, hey, I'm gonna like I might have privately thought some things about seamless, but I never said anything out loud to people in public.
yeah, right, because people talk, maybe no, because I believe you were good at what you did, and that's the reason people hate. People love to hate on those that are good at what they do. Like people love to talk about Brandon Bourdain because like the guy might be up at 5 a.m. in the gym and doing videos and whatnot, but like you're not. Like not saying you, but I mean like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. So like there's that. Like people love, and if we're talking about them right now, real estate taken up in our brains talking about it. Like people love to talk about those who are successful, like who are doing things, but they love to hate on that too. So
Yeah.
but it's cool the people that we both know a lot of the same people, and that's how the good relationships are formed where the opportunities show up. And like going back to the initial thing that you were saying too of like what made you like even intrigued or whatever by partnerships was the fact that I see it as like where the future's going, and co-selling being a huge aspect, and partner swapping kind of thing of like events together. Hey, not partner swap or customer swapping, like hey, here's my customers, here's your customers.
Yep.
Literally we can do events and like help each other grow and be better by manning up, if you will, and not being like, oh, we gotta win. Like there's like GTM Partners right now is doing this Better Together whole event to where it's like you have to, it's invite only, and it's customers of the partners, like it's partners that they have, like, and then it's their customers. So it's like you say, hey, I'm go like here's my ICP.
Yep.
Cool. You're only going to invite those people, and then who have those people have customers that they could have, and so it's like customer swapping in a sense, and it's brilliant because it's like enable people to be able to sell better, and it's like better together. But the world of SaaS is like I mean, I hate the whole like this is broken, this is broken, this is dead, this is dead. Like cool, like we're all gonna die. Like stop. Like it's stupid. Like why do we say that? Like it's like saying all these like kid phrases, like Sigma, whatever that means. I have no idea. My
I
kids
did,
keep
I'm guilty of doing for the first couple months that I did this, I totally was doing like the outbound prospecting with calls and emails is dead. Like I was doing that, and then like everyone did it. I'm like, oh, I can't do that anymore. I hate doing what other people are doing. I always want to do something different than what someone else is
Me
doing.
too. Me too. Like I love to challenge. Like I see rules. There's
Yeah.
signs that says rules. I'm like in my mind already. I'm thinking I have to challenge whatever is below this rules line. I need
Yeah.
to challenge these things because that's what I do. I don't. Should rules be broken? Yeah, some. But also should they just be challenged? Yeah, because like how do you know what works, what doesn't work? Like if you don't go test things out and try. So when I was at Seamless, a lot of people would say to me, hey, you don't really embody the culture there. And I would say thank you. And it was like, because there would be times where I'm like, hey, I don't know if this is the solution for you. Like
Yeah.
you're very much so enterprise, like this is where you need to go. And that led me to being able to like invest in a couple of these SaaS companies, which maybe that was not my best bet on some things, but like it's fine. It was commission that I got at some point. So I was like, all right, I'll do this. But it led me to have really good relationships to where now I'm like a referral partner for some of these companies because they're like, oh, we trusted you during the time that you were full on seller and you didn't try to sell us on what you had where you'd make money. Like you were playing the long game. And
Yeah.
those kind of people you want in your corner.
All right. So let's play a game with this a little bit to make it.
Okay.
Let's pretend that I wanted you to be a referral partner for Pitchfire.
Okay.
How do I make it not fail? So like how familiar are you with Pitchfire on a scale 1 to 10?
Scale of 7
Okay.
because it's on my
That's
email.
pretty good. Or if you're listening and you don't know, I'm not trying to plug it.
Plug it.
We're a B2B marketplace where businesses can come in and pitch people and pay them money to answer their sales pitch. It's that
It's
simple.
brilliant.
It's
It's
thing. A rule, by the way, attempt to change the rules a little bit, right? We spend all the money on marketing and sales tech and all this stuff, advertising, and I just want to give that money directly to people so that they respond instead.
Well, that's I'm so against like marketing, like marketing ads and stuff. Like, get rid of, literally stop it all is where I'm at with so many things. Stop it all. Rely on the people. Rely on your power users. Create internal and external evangelists who are going to go and be your advocates and and speak on your behalf. They're your best salespeople, not on payroll. What are you doing? And then also go and ask for feedback on what you're doing with like top leaders in XYZ space. Just go and learn and figure out what you don't know. And that's kind of what led me to Montana too. It was like, I don't know what I don't know about partnerships, but these people have been doing this a long time. So I'm going to learn from what they're saying so I can know where to best take my next step in life as I'm trying to like figure out my growth trajectory.
So if you, let's say we were like, hey, Amelia, we know you have a great audience online. You've built up, people love you in sales. You know a lot. We want to partner with you to get in front of other sellers so that they send pitches on Pitchfire. What would we wouldn't start with that. You would start with your normal relationship stuff and not lead with it, right? Like that's kind of the advice you're giving everyone.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a call that I just got off of pretty much was would love to see and explore if there is the opportunity for you to speak at like this roundtable. We'll invite your audience, but there would be like, it would be also needing to speak to our audience too, see if there's crossover here. And then like you would send something out as your follow-up with a plug of like, hey, P.S. I wanted to do a roundtable with them. If you want to do it too, reach out to my buddies over here. And like ideation, we were just trying to like figure out if things made sense or not.
Yeah.
It all starts with like if you were to reach out to me and say something, I would be like, game on, let's do it. If I didn't know you from Adam,
pretend in this scenario for people listening, I'm trying to like show your brilliance. Pretend we don't know each other, right? And like we're doing this conversation. A lot of the time, I feel like I'll tell you, I'll admit something. We have partners that we've signed up to do referrals with us that like they say yeah, and then they kind of nothing happens,
If I don't have anything, like if you don't give me access to what it is that I'm like full on access to showing me what it is that I'm even referring people to.
Yeah.
Problem number one, it's not going to happen. If I don't know what the hell I'm referring people to, no.
Yeah, you got to make stuff for the partner to enable them, basically, right?
Right. Enable the partner, give me the collateral, give me Slack Connect of some sort. Like that's simplified. Put things pinned to where it's like, hey, here's a monthly update of what we're doing with the product. Awesome. Kind of like an advisory network too. Then also make sure there's a platform like Referral Rock or like partnership, whatever it is, to where I can easily go in and see where things are at. And I don't have to go and be like, hey, where's this? And like, it did this, did this, referral go somewhere? Did it not? Because I don't want to waste my time by following up with my job to just simply be a referral partner. Like that's all it is referring. It's not, I'm not getting paid to follow up.
Yeah. So partner, if you're doing this and you don't have a program and you're listening, are you saying you should buy something to help you manage that partnership, or can you do it with like a spreadsheet manually to start with?
I mean, sure, you could. So like a company, Alley-Oop, they're an outsourced SDR shop. So they are probably the best of the best when it comes to what they're doing with some of the background that they have of like the people that are leading the pack there. I like them a bunch. And so they had this whole deck that they created. I mean, that looked really good. They had like really good video of like who we are, what we stand for, what's our why, here's our people, and just like statistics on what they've done with top companies that weren't from 5 years ago. Like they were of this past like few quarters because things have changed. So, and then it was also, here's a breakdown of what specific people that in your network who are referral partners of ours too, what they've been able to generate over the past 6 months to a year or 2 years, whatever it is that like they've been a referral partner however long. And so I could see tangible like results based off of with their ACV, like what is that average cost like of doing like working with Alley-Oop, then also based off how many referrals they did And so
Yeah.
I could get a gauge of like, oh, I can make X amount by just simply referring certain people over. So I was like, yeah, like let's do it. So they reached out to me and they're like, can you help us kind of figure out how to really make this motion go smoothly? And I was like, you need Referral Rock. It's less expensive than the other tools. It does the same exact thing.
Yeah.
But I learned this by doing this when I was at Reggie, because there was no, I was trying to get some of our like power users to be the people who were going out and spreading the word. And like, I was the quote unquote evangelist, which that shouldn't be a title, but it was. And so I was like, we got to create these external evangelists. So activating them, empowering them, but they needed to have something in return. It's like they needed to not come to me. I didn't want to deal with it either. I didn't want to deal with being like, where is this? And da da da. And I'm like, oh shit, I have no idea. And so having Referral Rock, I'm just gonna plug that in. I get nothing for that. I probably should. Referral Rock, we can be partners. But
If you want, Amelia might work with you if you want to
also,
contact her.
yeah, and like Lulu, if you want to like, it's like Lululemon, like I will be like a sponsored person for you. Should we just plug a bunch of like Nike, like NFL, like and all the above, whatever. Yeah. So like all of these great companies, like whatever Mountain Man gear that you want to plug, sure, that should be something that you should say. But I think there's got to be a clear path to success as to how you can make money, because the end goal of referring people is you're going to generate revenue and you're going to help good people. Like you're going to only do it with good people too, and a product that you believe in. Like I'm big believer in Common Room. Like I like them a bunch. Clay, I like them a bunch too. Like there's certain companies that I'm like, yeah, I would totally go refer people to y'all. And like also, if you want to be a referral partner for people, just go talk to people, literally have conversations, because some people haven't stood up that before, but they want to because they see the value, and they aren't getting the sales. Like people are not going inbound through the like demo channel, right? They're not like we said, they're not doing things the same way.
Yep.
Buyers aren't buying the way they used to. It's literally through who you know. So go through those who know who they know, that have the influence, that have the loud voices on social, and just it's easier to work with people in that sense. So if you're a seller, go team up with some of these people too. And if there's a rev share you can do, awesome. And then bring it back to your team and show the results. Like it's a simple way to make more money. It's like all in all, and to build a good network of people and relationships.
How do you remind a partner to keep, you have to, do you basically, so like you have to, let me know if this is backwards based on what I'm hearing. It sounds like when you get a partner, like let's say I have you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a mine. You're a mine. You're not gonna just give me gold or diamonds. I have to go to you and say, hey, do you mind if I pick here? Right? Is that kind of a way to think about it? Like, in order to get the most out of a partnership, I have to come with you. I need to come to you with ideas of how I need to, like, of how I want to get leverage you to help us. I can't just,
Yeah.
you can't just be like, oh, you're a partner now. Great. I'll sit here while you rack in the money for us.
Right. Like, and that has happened with a few companies where it's like, I don't know what I'm doing now that you've told me all these like promised land things to where
Yeah.
I'll be, but like you've not enabled me whatsoever. Like I'm disengaged completely. This is not like I'm not going, like I don't want to. I'm not going to refer people because you're not top of mind. So if you were trying to stay top of mind, it's that like consistently ensuring that like I said, like Slack Connect, like great, stick those people who are referral partners in a Slack Connect group, like easy, and just do an update there. Or you incentivize in some way that's like, hey, if you do X amount, like make it something fun. They don't want your swag, because I know nobody wants your swag. Okay, like I mean, doing it, whatever, some people might, right?
I say that all the time. That's why I'm always like people will be like, oh, why don't you just throw them in Slack? I'm like, dude, people don't want to join another Slack. There's so many of these things.
They don't want another Slack, and they also don't want your swag. And it's like, so like don't incentivize with that, but also just send them what they need in order to be successful, or do something where it's incentivizing enough to be like, hey, like gamify the whole thing of, hey, we've got 25 referral partners. We're going to send the top 5 like we're gonna give them like I don't know, here's a bonus, here's 5K if you like do this within this quarter, whatever, something like that. People are more inclined to do more. They don't want your swag. Please do not send people swag to incentivize. Give them money, send them somewhere on a trip. I don't care, but do something that's going to get them a breather and they feel like they did something good. Like, oh, I earned this. Like, but earn the right to ask people to be a partner. Like, go earn the right to be aggressive enough to be like, here's a story as to why you should be a part. Like, or if you're going to approach a company to be a partner, like, here's the story that I need to craft around this narrative of what I've done. Here's how help companies like yours. And here's why I believe, because if it's going to be a company that they're pretty picky about who it is that they're working with, like if it's a HubSpot, right? And you're a one-man band, like you're like, hey, I want to refer people in. It's probably going to be through an agency that you're going to do that through best. It's probably not going to be directly into like, what are you doing there? I don't know. So you're going to, the agencies externally, they're the ones that are going to need the business with the HubSpot partnership that they have. So go figure out how that what that looks like if their pipeline's dried up, but they have this HubSpot partnership. There's over 300 unicorn companies that are in the HubSpot ecosystem. Like, why would these companies not engage with them? Because people don't know how to do outbound, because it's, I'm not saying it's dead because we're all going to die, but like it's literally not working anymore the way it used to. Yep. So go through people who know people who know people, like who knows somebody who knows somebody, you know? So like go through who knows somebody and then just directly introduce them, but do the intro for them and then see what makes sense. Like, hey, I just brought these in for you, so prove the value of what you can do.
Amelia, we are kind of getting long on this side. I want to make sure you get a chance to plug something. What do you want to tell people? I know there's rumors that you would be open to talking to some companies if anyone's looking for someone to help with running partner initiatives. I mean, just a rumor.
It is a little bit of a rumor that is a true one. So like, we can play the rumor game, but this is like the truth rumor game because it's a Thursday. So we're recording this on a Thursday. So it's Truth Thursday rumor day. Yeah. That's everyone knows. So that being said, I am continuing to do what I'm doing with the revenue table and helping companies drive revenue through relationships and partnerships that they have. And co-marketing plays that they can do with their partners. But that said, I am looking right now for the best of the best to grow and learn and be a part of something bigger with those companies that are doing partnerships in the very best way, where I can go be a part of their greatness. So the rumor is true. I am looking. So if you want to let me know.
Yeah. You could also go to the revenue table and talk to Amelia about helping out with some stuff too on if you're not looking, but
100%.
Yeah. On my end, I just want to do a quick plug. I'm doing something fun with 2 partners. Whoa, what's that?
What?
I'm doing something with No Fluff Sales and Texla. We're actually going to get a bunch of Texla's customers that use text messages to market to people. A lot of them are like mom and pop pizza shops and stuff. We're looking at real text messages that they send to people, and we're going to give kudos and tips on how to make the copy better that you text message to your customers. So if you're ever I'm ignorant on text, and the thing that they're having me do is do it like as a marketer, and we've been doing practice sessions. It's been super fun. We're doing that next Thursday. If you want to register to sign up, I'm probably going to stream it on LinkedIn Live too, but register so we can get some leads. You know what I mean? Help us out.
And like, I love those guys over there. Like, that is like, Jeremy's one of my favorite humans ever. There's like really good people at that company. And who you said, what other company?
No Fluff Sales, Rex Pipperson's company.
Oh, yeah, like duh, like hello, like these are good partnerships in place. So like, y'all go on Thursday, and if you need help from me to drive revenue through the top of the funnel and through relationships, partnerships, boom, got you. Also, rumor is true. I am actively looking, but still open to helping.
Yeah, always. And you know what? Maybe we'll talk offline a little bit about helping us out with some stuff too. So, whoa, you hear that, everyone? Be careful. She might. What are you doing?
Did you Under me?
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm like, I feel like I'm your promoter. Like I'm your promoter. I just need like a megaphone. I wish that's what we need. We need megaphones for these things.
Yeah, well, guess what? Someone's already been there, done that. Shout out Larry Long Jr., who has 3 of them from his kids, like who are like the bright colored ones. And he is like, oh, it's great. But I mean, we could wear like cool, like, like headgear or something, like, workout bands. No, somebody already does that too. No, we're just going to stay with what you've got going on. We're going to stay with the fire.
All right. Well, thank you for being on. I'll have to have you come back on again too. If you want to get in touch, add Amelia on LinkedIn. You can search Amelia Taylor. I'm going to hit the send recording button. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye, y'all.